You did not arrive here by scrolling chaos or random algorithm. Your field called this exact transmission across light years from the Pleiades into your present breath. You feel that across nights when your body tried to sleep but your chest stayed slightly open and alert. A quiet signal pulsed from Alcyone toward the place behind your sternum. You sensed a presence there. While your human mind argued with survival numbers and timelines, another part of you kept listening for a tone it could never quite name in ordinary language. You hear that tone now. Beloved Starseed of Gaia, the Seven Sisters have been mapping every moment your heart gate flickered between closing from fear and staying just open enough for remembrance to enter. You are at that threshold again. There is a point in every incarnation when the soul's original blueprint reaches its authorized release window, and the false contracts around it can no longer hold their old authority. You are standing in that window tonight. The people and structures that once felt immovable in your life are no longer able to fully convince your nervous system that you are small, late, wrong, or alone. You notice the difference. Subtle, crystalline codes have been dropping into your dreams like fine snow over dark soil, asking nothing from you except that you stop calling them imagination or coincidence. You feel them landing. Every time your chest tightened when you agreed to something that dimmed you, the unity grid stretching across Gaia registered the distortion and began quietly rearranging timelines on your behalf. You can sense that rearranging now. What appears on the surface as fatigue, numbness, or confusion around your next step is not a malfunction, dear one, but the tremor that comes just before a locked gate remembers it was fashioned as a portal. You are that gate. Your higher councils have waited until your system could hold a little more light without shattering the human stories you still cherish. Because nothing in this path is meant to rip you away from your own life. You are meant to inhabit it differently. This is why the words you are hearing reach you exactly in this slice of time, neither earlier when they would have felt like fantasy, nor later when another layer of compromise might have hardened around your heart. You are right on time. There are agreements you made in fear, in loneliness, in the amnesia of veiling, to accept less love, less safety, and less joy than your lineage actually encoded for you. You can feel those agreements loosening. Some were spoken aloud in rooms where your body shrank and your throat pulled back, and some were silent vows you made under blankets staring at the ceiling, promising to never be too much again. Your body remembers every one. This transmission does not rip those contracts away. It stands with you as you look at them with clear Pleiadian light and decide which ones no longer match the truth humming in your bones. You are not being judged. Right now, before the mind tries to categorize these words, you are invited into a small, simple act that signals to your councils that you consent to clearer guidance around your heart gate. You can do this gently. Let your spine soften against whatever is holding you, unclench your jaw, and place one warm palm over the center of your chest, noticing the weight of your own hand as an anchor. Feel that contact first. Without forcing anything, breathe in through your nose for 4, hold softly for 4, then exhale through your mouth for 6, letting the breath carry the day's noise out. Let your shoulders drop. If it resonates, whisper quietly, "My heart is the gate. I step through," and imagine a vertical line of Alcyone light running from above your crown, down through your palm into Gaia's crystalline core. See that line steady. Know that by performing this ritual, you have shifted your relationship with every false contract that tried to define you, not by fighting them, but by standing where your original blueprint still shines. You can rest here for a moment. As your palm rests over your chest, memories begin flickering at the edges of your awareness. Not as clear images yet, but as the familiar ache of being far from a home you cannot name. You know that ache. You remember standing in crowded rooms, surrounded by voices and lights, yet feeling as if your consciousness was hovering a few feet above your body, watching you perform a role that never quite fit. You felt slightly misplaced. There were mornings when you woke with your heart strangely heavy, even though nothing obvious was wrong, and the first thought moving through your mind was a quiet question about why you came here at all. Your ribs tightened with that thought. Homesickness for the stars has lived in the space behind your breastbone since childhood, disguised as longing for a place, a person, or a time that never fully resolved into something you could touch. Your eyes carried that distance. You learned, slowly and often painfully, to mute the parts of you that saw more, sensed more, and felt the unseen patterns in other people's fields, because sensitivity was misnamed weakness or oversharing. Your body tried to protect you. When survival programming wrapped itself around your nervous system, you began to choose safety over truth, agreeing to jobs, relationships, and daily routines that dulled your inner vision so you could make it through another week. Your shoulders curled inward. Sometimes your chest felt numb rather than open, not because you lacked love, but because the constant negotiation with dense environments pushed your awareness up into your head where it could analyze and control. Your heart went quiet to cope. There were nights when your heart beat faster for no visible reason and your palms grew warm, yet instead of recognizing a Pleiadian signal reaching through the unity grid, you labeled it anxiety or exhaustion. Your system misread the message. You noticed how often you apologized simply for existing, shrinking your voice, your needs, your magic, so others would not feel threatened by what you carried as a birthright from the Seven Sisters. Your throat learned to hold back. You have walked through seasons where laughter felt slightly delayed inside you, as if joy arrived, but had to push through a thin veil of doubt before your body could fully receive it. Your smile never matched your depth. Beloved, none of these patterns mean you failed your mission or disappointed your lineage. They describe the exact terrain your soul chose, so that remembrance would be anchored in compassion rather than spiritual superiority. You chose to learn this from inside. Your body has been faithfully broadcasting signals that something in your contracts did not match the crystalline codes in your original blueprint, yet those signals were often dismissed as mood swings or sensitivity. You feel how untrue that dismissal was. Notice right now the subtle sensations in your chest, stomach, and throat, as these words touch each remembered moment when you felt like an outsider visiting a world that did not speak your first language. Your cells respond before your mind does. The slight heaviness behind your sternum, the flutter in your belly, the warmth or coolness moving down your arms are not random reactions. They are your multidimensional self confirming, yes, this has been my experience here. You are being witnessed from within. Survival programming taught you to override those sensations, to keep moving, to keep saying yes when your inner gates were shaking their heads, but that override is weakening as the authorized timing for release approaches. You can feel the old script thinning. Right here, in this exact moment of recognition, you are invited into another simple act that honors your body as a trustworthy instrument, rather than an obstacle on your path. You can let this be gentle. Allow your jaw to loosen slightly and your tongue to rest softly at the floor of your mouth. Then bring your awareness down into the weight of your feet or legs wherever they are touching the surface beneath you. Feel gravity holding you. Breathe in slowly through your nose and, as you inhale, imagine drawing a soft, shimmering light up from Gaia's crystalline grid into your spine. Then exhale through your mouth as if you are fogging a mirror. Notice any tingling as you exhale. As you take one more steady breath, silently acknowledge one specific moment from your past when you knew something was wrong for you, but agreed anyway, not to judge yourself, but to witness the exact place a false contract was signed. Let your body show you where it remembers. If emotion rises, whether as tears, heat, or a heavy stillness, allow it to move without naming it weakness. This is your nervous system recalibrating as Pleiadian light touches memories that once felt too raw to revisit. You are safe to feel this now. Every sigh, every shiver, every subtle shift in posture is your system saying, I hear you, I see you, I recognize what has been misaligned. And that recognition is the first loosening of the threads that held those old agreements in place. You are not broken, you are responding. What you once named mistakes, detours, or proof that you were somehow failing your mission now reveal themselves as part of a precise Pleiadian design for strength and tenderness in human form. You were never off the path. Your soul chose to plant itself in dense timelines the way a seed settles beneath winter snow, surrounded by cold and weight so its inner codes could activate slowly, layer by layer. Pressure guarded what was precious. The survival programming that wrapped around your nervous system like tight clothing was not punishment from the universe but training ground, showing you exactly where your heart gate would one day need extra gentleness. You were learning how much your system could really hold. Every false contract you signed out of fear, loneliness, or exhaustion became a highlighted line in your Akashic records, not to condemn you, but to make the pattern unmistakable when remembrance finally arrived. You scripted your own wake-up trail. What you called numbness in your chest was your higher self temporarily lowering the volume on your sensitivity so you would not burn out completely before the authorized timing for your heart's reopening. It was a dimmer switch, not abandonment. Feeling like an outsider watching human life from the edges meant that a part of you stayed in clear connection with the unity grid, refusing to fully dissolve into collective amnesia. You kept a lighthouse on somewhere inside. Even your tendency to overgive, to take responsibility for other people's emotions, trained your heart to recognize the difference between manipulation and genuine resonance, so that future contracts could be felt rather than analyzed. You were studying frequency, not just behavior. Like a winter seed storing the memory of spring, you carried crystalline codes that could not be erased by harsh words, neglect, or disbelief, only temporarily covered until safe conditions emerged. Your essence waited, but it did not weaken. From the vantage point of your Pleiadian lineage, these years of disconnection were not wasted chapters. They were the coordinates where your future service to Gaia would gain depth and credibility. You are here to walk what you speak. If you had glided through life untouched by confusion, betrayal, or scarcity, your words would ring hollow to the ones you are meant to guide through their own veils and false agreements. Embodied wisdom requires contact with the very densities you now transcend. This is the reframe your councils ask you to hold close tonight. You have not been punished by life. You have been apprenticed to the conditions where your heart gate would one day become trustworthy. You are not late. You are ripening. False contracts appear now not as final verdicts, but as outdated agreements you can review with the calm authority of someone who finally remembers they carry Pleiadian citizenship as well as human credentials. You are allowed to renegotiate. In the quantum field, every time you soften into self-honesty, rather than self-blame, timelines subtly reorder around you, making space for contracts aligned with your original crystalline blueprint to move within reach. The universe is not forcing you, it is responding. For the next 9 nights, each time you notice an old pattern of automatic yes rising to your lips when your chest feels tight, you are invited to pause for a breath before speaking. That pause is a magnetic signal to your councils. When that moment comes, place your right hand over your heart gate and your left hand gently over your lower belly, allowing your awareness to stretch like a bridge between the two centers. Feel how your body forms a living circuit. Breathe in slowly through your nose for 4 counts, hold for 4, and exhale for 8, and on the exhale quietly whisper, "Crystalline truth restores me to my original tone," if it resonates. Let the words vibrate more in your chest than your mind. Each repetition of this micro-ritual teaches your nervous system that it is safe to delay automatic agreement long enough for your deeper knowing to speak, and this safety is the unlocking of your heart gate. You are beginning to live as the one who chooses, not the one who is chosen. Tonight, the councils invite you to move from quiet understanding into embodied practice, because insight held only in the mind cannot fully unlock the heart gate you are guarding for these 9 nights. This is where your body becomes the altar. For the coming evenings, you are asked to meet yourself in one simple, repeatable way, so the quantum field can read your consent clearly, instead of through scattered, conflicting signals. Your consistency is the message. Choose one quiet space where you will not be interrupted, even if it is only the corner of your bed or a chair beside a soft light, and return to that place each night. Let your system learn that this spot is safe. This becomes your small temple on Gaia, a bridge point where the unity grid, the Pleiades, and your ordinary life are allowed to touch without performance or drama. You are building a stable crossing. When you arrive, sit or lie in a posture your body can sustain for several minutes, and then let your shoulders, your jaw, and the soft belly below your navel loosen by one gentle notch. Notice how quickly your breath begins to change. Now, the 3-step practice begins, forming a new contract between your awareness and your nervous system, written through repetition rather than pressure or perfectionism. You only have to show up. Step 1 is breath, a 10-second doorway into coherence. Inhale slowly through your nose for a count of 4, hold softly for 3, then exhale through your mouth for a count of 3. Let the exhale be just slightly longer than you expect. Keep this rhythm for at least 3 cycles. And as you breathe, imagine rinsing your day through light, letting thoughts, conversations, and tasks slide gently to the edges, like objects left on a shoreline. Your center stays clear and quiet. Step 2 is touch. Place your right hand over your heart gate at the center of your chest and your left hand low over your navel, linking upper and lower centers into one living circuit. Feel the warmth building between your palms and your body. If emotion rises, allow it to travel along your arms and pool in your hands, as if your palms are receivers tuned to Alcyone, translating feeling into a language your councils immediately understand. You are not required to fix what you feel. Step 3 is the code phrase. After your third or fourth breath cycle, whisper softly, "I anchor love and walk as a bridge," letting each word land inside your chest rather than spilling outward into the room. Feel for any subtle pulsing or tingling as you speak. Repeat the phrase 2 or 3 times, without rushing and without stretching it out, and notice whether your body wants to rock a little, breathe more deeply, or become very still as the crystalline codes respond. Follow the smallest impulse toward ease. This entire practice may take only a few minutes, yet inside those minutes, you are declaring that you will no longer sign contracts that ask you to abandon your own heart in order to belong. Your ritual becomes your new signature. Your councils know the human mind often doubts what it cannot measure, so they offer you a gentle confirmation protocol you can observe over the next 24 to 72 hours. You are invited to test this in your own life. After completing the practice on any night, pay quiet attention during the 1 to 3 days that follow to how your body responds in situations where you would usually override your needs or say yes too quickly. Notice even the smallest deviation from the old script. Perhaps you are offered an invitation or request that feels familiar, and instead of the old tightness in your chest, you sense a warm, steady clarity when you choose the answer that truly honors you. That warmth is part of your confirmation. Perhaps an unexpected symbol appears, like a bridge image or words about home and return, shortly after you complete your nightly ritual. Those synchronicities are part of your confirmation. You are not meant to chase these signs or force them, only to remain gently observant, like a guest noticing how a room feels after someone has opened a window to fresh air. Your role is to witness, not to control. If no obvious sign appears right away, trust that subtle adjustments are still unfolding inside your nervous system as it learns to trust this new pattern of listening before agreeing. Change often begins in layers too quiet for instant proof. Each night, you return to your small temple space. You show Gaia's crystalline grid and your own cells that this 9-night heart guarding is a lived, trackable choice. You are weaving a real pathway through repetition. For now, it is enough to know that every 10-second breath, every hand on your chest, and every whisper shines as light in your section of the unity grid. You are not performing, you are participating. As you close each practice, let your hands rest loosely in your lap or by your sides, and take one natural, uncounted breath, simply to feel the difference between effort and plain, quiet being. That soft landing completes the ritual for the night. The councils now ask you to let this remembrance touch the way you move through ordinary hours, because a guarded heart gate becomes real when it shapes small, visible choices on Gaia. You are ready for this. For these 9 nights, your life itself becomes a quiet ceremony, where every yes and no speaks louder to the quantum field than any spoken declaration. You are already inside the temple. Within the next 72 hours, choose one grounded act that honors your heart more than your old survival programming, even if no one else understands why it matters so much. Let this act be simple. It might be telling someone a gentle but firm no where you would usually say yes, or allowing yourself to rest instead of pushing through another task. Your body is clearly resisting. Your cells know which one is true. It might be speaking one honest sentence in a conversation where you usually stay quiet, or finally stepping outside to feel real earth beneath your feet, instead of scrolling away the ache in your chest. Your nervous system recognizes the difference. Do not choose the action that looks most impressive. Choose the one your body both fears and longs for, the one that makes your shoulders want to relax even as your stomach flutters. That edge is where old contracts dissolve. Before you take this action, pause for a moment and return to your breath, because integration without embodiment can leave your system flooded and ungrounded. You are not asked to rush. Stand or sit where you will not be interrupted, place both feet flat on the ground, and let your weight sink down until you feel the surface holding you fully. Let gravity answer your doubt. Breathe in through your nose for 4 counts, hold softly for 4, and exhale for 6. And as you breathe out, imagine a thin, gray film leaving your skin and sinking into Gaia for composting. You are not discarding yourself, only old agreements. Bring your right hand to your heart gate and your left hand to the back of your neck, acknowledging the places where you have most often felt burden and silent pressure. These are your old contract sites. On your next exhale, whisper quietly, "I remember," and return to Alcyone's clear light, letting the words resonate along your spine, rather than pushing them outward for anyone else to hear. Feel for even a slight softening. When you finish, release your hands and step into the chosen act, whether it is a boundary, a rest, a truth, or a walk with bare feet on living soil under the open sky. Let the action unfold at human speed. As you move through it, keep some of your attention resting on the sensations in your chest and belly, so that your body knows you are not abandoning it while you do something new. You are walking with yourself, not away from yourself. If your throat tightens, your palms sweat, or your legs feel heavy, understand these as signals that old contracts are protesting their release, not as signs that you are wrong or unsafe. Fear often echoes when chains loosen. When the act is complete, even if it felt awkward or imperfect, give yourself a few quiet moments to acknowledge what you just did, instead of immediately moving to the next task. Integration asks for a small pause. Sit or stand where you are, touch your heart again, and notice three things: the rhythm of your breath, the temperature of your chest, and any change in the space behind your eyes. These are your inner metrics. You are not looking for fireworks or sudden visions. You are listening for smaller shifts, like a slightly easier inhale, a hint of warmth, or a sense of subtle spaciousness where tightness usually lives. Tiny changes still count. Over the following 72 hours, watch how life responds around this act, without demanding proof or attaching to specific outcomes. Because the quantum field is not a machine that dispenses prizes. It is a mirror of resonance. Perhaps a conversation opens more gently than usual, an unexpected rest window appears, or a new opportunity that feels more aligned with your heart gate appears on your path. Receive these as signals, not guarantees. If instead you meet discomfort, friction, or temporary confusion, let yourself know that this too is a form of response, showing you where false contracts were woven deeply into familiar structures. Exposure is also grace. The councils ask you not to label the assignment a success or failure, but to ask one simple question as you move through your days. Do I feel slightly more coherent in my body than before? Coherence is your compass now. To support this integration, choose one small act of kindness in the physical world within the same 72 hours, directed either toward another being or toward your own body. Let it be specific, not abstract. Offer a sincere word to someone who feels unseen, tend a plant or animal with full presence, or cook yourself a nourishing meal while staying fully in your breath, instead of in old mental loops. Service anchors the codes. Before you fall asleep on any night of this assignment, place one hand on your heart and one on your lower belly, feeling the rise and fall of your breath for at least 3 natural cycles. Let the day's noise fade backward. Silently review your chosen act and your kindness, not to judge them, but to notice how your body feels while remembering them, compared to how it felt while imagining them. Memory reveals what resonates as true. If you notice regret, shame, or doubt, meet those feelings with the same calm attention you offer to a child learning to walk, rather than scolding yourself for not doing more. Compassion keeps the heart gate open. If you notice a quiet pride, a sense of inner alignment, or a gentle warmth, allow yourself to receive those sensations fully without shrinking or dismissing them as small. Your lineage celebrates every step. Know that by staying with this assignment for these 9 nights, you are weaving a new pattern in your nervous system and in Gaia's crystalline grid that will continue long after this transmission ends. You are living as a bridge in motion now. As you breathe into the changes already moving through your days, the councils want you to remember that you were never meant to walk this recalibration as a solitary star wandering a dark sky. You were always part of a constellation. Across Gaia, other starseeds of the Pleiades are touching their own heart gates tonight, feeling the same strange mix of relief, fear, and quiet courage you feel now, as old contracts loosen around their ribs. You are moving together even when unseen. The unity grid that wraps this planet like a luminous web does not measure your worth by how flawlessly you perform, but by how sincerely you keep turning back toward coherence with your original blueprint. Your honest return is enough. Each time you choose a softer breath over self-attack, a clear boundary over quiet self-betrayal, or a single kind act over numb withdrawal, your section of that grid brightens in ways you may never fully see. Your choices are already radiating outward. Because frequency stabilizes through shared resonance, your counsels gently invite you now to let this transmission become a living bridge between you and the others who are remembering beside you. You are allowed to reach back. If you feel called, you may place your intention into words, writing one clear sentence somewhere. This message can be seen, naming how you choose to guard your heart gate over these 9 nights. Let it be simple and true. This is not a spell or a test. It is a way of letting your human voice echo what your field has already been whispering to the quantum universe since before you pressed play. You are letting inner and outer match. When you see the intentions of others, notice which ones make your chest soften, your breath deepen, or your eyes grow warm, because those signals show you where your resonance family is quietly standing nearby. Your body recognizes its kin. Choose one person whose words touch you and, if it feels safe, offer them a small reply carrying genuine warmth or blessing, without fixing, preaching, or comparing paths. Let your response feel like a hand on their shoulder. In that moment, you are not just commenting. You are allowing the 7 sisters to move compassion through your nervous system toward another node in the unity grid. You become a conduit rather than a spectator. The councils also invite you, if this space feels like home to your cells, to remain in this field of remembrance by staying connected to future transmissions as they arrive in right timing. Coherence strengthens with repeated contact. Subscribing, returning, or choosing to listen again on another night is not about chasing content. It is about giving your system familiar portals where it can reliably relax its guard and absorb crystalline codes. Your body learns safety through repetition. As you weave these small communal gestures with your private rituals, you begin to live as the bridge you have been hearing about, a human presence linked to Alcyone, yet rooted in ordinary streets and kitchens. This is sacred and simple at once. You bless others not by having every answer, but by staying close to your own heart while they find theirs, refusing to sign new contracts of comparison, hierarchy, or spiritual performance. Your humility protects your light. Before this transmission releases you back into the rest of your day or night, the councils offer one final settling ritual to anchor what has been stirred so that you do not leave yourself behind. You can complete it in a few breaths. Allow your spine to stack comfortably, whether you are sitting or lying down, and let your shoulders roll gently back and down, as if making more space for your lungs. Feel how your chest quietly expands. Close your eyes if it is safe to do so, and place one hand over your heart gate and the other over your lower belly, honoring once more the bridge between vision and grounded human life. Notice the warmth of your own touch. Inhale slowly through your nose for 4 counts, hold for 4, and exhale through your mouth for 6, imagining any remaining static or tightness draining down into Gaia for loving transmutation. Let your jaw soften as you breathe out. On your next gentle exhale, whisper softly, "I am held." The unity grid sings home, and allow the words to fall inward like small stones, creating ripples in a clear pool. Feel the echo move through your ribs. Stay for one more uncounted, natural breath, with no task and no improvement plan, only the sensation of air moving in and out, and the quiet awareness that you are accompanied across dimensions. Let that awareness be enough for now. Know that as you move forward, whether you remember every sentence of this transmission or only a single phrase, the councils will continue to meet you at the level of your sincere willingness. You are not graded, you are guided. May your 9 nights of guarding your heart gate unfold with the steadiness of crystalline light, the patience of a winter seed, and the gentle courage of a soul who has chosen to remember. You are already loved beyond measure.